Morning, guys. I hope that you've changed clothes because I haven't. But today we're going to get a little bit more into the interesting aspect of area. Yesterday was the boring part of just introducing what it is and how to understand it. So remember what we talked about. Area is always the inside of a shape. If I have a square here, maybe. Area is the inside of this square. And also the second part we talked about is the inside of that square is always going to be presented as square units. That is going to be very important today as we move forward into actually doing area problems and understanding how to solve them. So if you guys remember a few days ago when we learned how to do perimeter of a square and rectangle and things like that, there were specific formulas of how to solve those kinds of problems. You cannot look at every shape and solve them the same way. The same thing applies to area. We're on page 261, 262 today. And today we're talking specifically about area of a rectangle. The rule in your book, it says the area of a rectangle can be found by using the formula area equals length times width. Nope, don't want to use shapes. Area equals length times width. And I will say this is kind of the generic formula that you will always use unless it specifies otherwise. We're going to learn a couple other formulas this year, but overall this is going to be the main one to use. So it's going to be very important that you go ahead and dial it in. The L in area, this right here, it means length. And the width is W. And I wrote them this way because that is also how you're going to see these presented. When you have a square, this right here, the long side, that is going to be your length. And then this way, that is your width. Width is always going side to side. Length is going up, down. So this is going to be your formula. You're going to be given a shape, and it is going to have measurements with it, and you're going to multiply these as our formula tells us. The facts that it says is inches times inches will always be square inches. Feet times feet will always be square feet. Yards times yards, square yards, and so on. Remember that you should always have squared as your answer. If you're talking about, if this is 13 inches, and this is 9 inches, then your answer should be whatever this is, inches squared, or squared inches. One of these need to be presented because otherwise you're going to get a problem wrong. And I don't want you guys to get a hard question wrong even though you did all the right work, purely because you missed a thing. It says learn these measures. It says 144 square inches equals 1 square foot, 9 square feet is 1 square yard, 43,560 square feet is 1 acre, and 640 acres is 1 square mile. Those will be helpful for you as you're actually doing the conversions later on. But for today, I'm going to do 1A with you guys on the board, just so that way you're able to see it. We're given a little square, not anything too crazy, and it tells us that the length is 3 feet, and the width is 6 feet. Remember, the formula is area equals length times width, so all we have to do is multiply these together. 3 times 6 should be pretty easy for you guys. That's going to be 18. But remember, our answer is not just 18, it is 18 squared, and this is feet, so it's going to be 18 squared feet. If you're more comfortable doing 18 feet with the exponent 2 squared, that is perfectly fine as well, whichever you want to do. And your book is probably going to mention squared feet a little more often, but that's all right. So relatively simple stuff. We're not getting into anything too crazy. You're just doing your typical multiplication. So let's do the entirety of 261, 262, 1 through 8, and I will see you guys tomorrow.